It's time for bubbles, and we are starting with Cava. Welcome back to Drinking It In. I'm your host, Chris Casara, and we are here to help you know more and drink better. And we are starting the bubbles sessions. I'm going to call them the bubbles sessions. All right, we've got a bunch of bubbles. Next 6 or so episodes probably going to be all about bubbles and why you should be drinking more sparkling wine. Starting our journey in Cava, in Spain, with Cava. So Cava is a sparkling wine in Spain made usually from 3 primary grapes: Macabeo, Xarel·lo, and Parellada. So in this case, this is 40% Macabeo, 40% Xarel·lo, and 20% Parellada. What you're going to get from Cava is, a clean, citrusy, appley wine. You could get some nuttiness and some breadiness, but not as much as you would get of those notes in champagne, just because of the grapes that are used. Cava goes through, or any sparkling wine goes through, a secondary fermentation. Right, so if winemakers make the first batch of wine, first fermentation, then they have a choice, right, to do a secondary fermentation. They can either do it in the bottle or they could do it in a tank. In the Cava world, the secondary fermentation is done in the bottle, in what's called the traditional method. And what that does is it gives the wine a little more weight, right? So if you're familiar with Prosecco, which we'll have in the next episode, it's going to be a lighter, more friendly weighted bubbles, whereas Cava, again, just has a little more depth to it. So after the secondary fermentation takes place, a whole bunch of dead yeast cells gather in the top of the bottle, and in order to get those out so that you have a nice clean sparkling wine, they freeze the neck of the bottle, the lees shoot out, and then they top it off with little wine and maybe a little dosage of sugar to balance out the wine. So there's a little bit about the process. Probably should spend a little more time on it, but hopefully that gives you a little sense for why the wines have bubbles in them, and also why Cava is going to be a little closer to champagne than it is to Prosecco. So let's taste this wine, give you a sense. Can you hear that? Bubbles are noisy. So you might notice I'm not drinking this in a champagne flute or anything like that. I mean, I tend to like my sparkling wines in a regular wine glass, but full disclosure, I did just break the last champagne glass we had here, so I need to get more and be more careful with them. Be careful that when you inhale, you don't inhale a lot of the bubbles, right? So then it just gets you a little wacky. There's some apple notes. There's a nice lemony citrus note here. So this guy it gets a little sweetness coming in, almost like a honeyed note. This is really nice. So I think I neglected to tell you that we're drinking the Brut Cava from Poema. Now Poema is a pretty well distributed brand. Whether you're just drinking the Brut or you're doing their rosé, really good choice for bubbles. $10, $14, somewhere in that range, and it always drinks as if it's priced a little more. This is no different. This is really good. I think, don't think of Cava as just a little pre-dinner drink, right? This can stand up to, your Spanish tapas, paella, tacos, and it's a very good match with sushi too. So don't always go for a still wine if you're when you're thinking about what you want to drink with a given meal. I think the last thing I want to note is that there's you'll see some different labels or different terms on the Cava labels. This one just says Cava, right? So this is just your basic Cava at the I want to say the lowest level, but the broadest level. As you go up into Reserva and Gran Reserva, just like on a lot of other wines in Spain, you get the quality goes up, and there might be some additional aging that is happening as well. So keep that in mind. When you're asking yourself, why is this Gran Reserva Cava $30 and maybe this regular Cava is $12? There's definitely something to it. Hope this helps. I hope you're looking forward to the next few episodes of Bubbles, and in the end, I hope you just drink a lot more sparkling wine than you are today. Till next time, cheers.